G'day guys, it is Tasman from Kacha and I'm here again with my good friend Liz Jones.
Hi Taz, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And we are discussing some of the most common questions that Liz gets asked as a career coach for people who are job seeking or in career transition. And this is a must watch for anyone who is going to be a job seeker, has been a job seeker, and everything in between. So, what is the question that we are tackling today?
Well, today we're going to tackle that moment in an interview where you feel extreme discomfort because you just can't answer the question.
Gosh. Go on.
Can you relate?
Absolutely, you bet.
I think we've all been there, and it's interesting, some of the people that I've spoken to over many years of coaching people through interviews and hearing about their experiences and debriefing afterwards, there are some really obscure questions that people can get asked in interviews. So often I get asked, could you put together a list of questions that I might get asked so I can practice? But guaranteed you can never cover off every single question that's going to be asked.
Yeah.
I even had one candidate who spoke to me and they'd been asked, how many red lights do you think there are in New York City?
I would just be silent if I got asked that. I do what I'm doing right this moment.
Yeah, where do you even start?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So when we unpacked what was actually going on in that interview process, it became really evident that the interviewer had no interest in how many red lights there were in New York City. That was irrelevant,
Yeah.
In actual fact, when we delved down a bit deeper, we asked ourselves, what are they trying to find out by asking us that question? Now for this particular person, they were going to be working in a really high pressure environment where they had to make lots of quick decisions and quick calls. They also would have had to think quite creatively. And those things had been stipulated right through the interview process and right through the job activity process. So everything through from job ads had mentioned those qualities in it. And it became really clear that what the interviewer was trying to do was to get this person to actually demonstrate those competencies on their feet in the interview space. I'm going to throw something really left field at you and I want to see how you react under pressure and how you solve that problem.
I think as an extension of that, I can reflect on some of the processes I've managed in the past where candidates ask questions like, what if the organisation was taking an action that you didn't agree with? How would you deal with it? And again, it's a really curly question. It puts people on the spot, but what they're looking for is the way that you process your thinking style and also the values that you're operating from as well.
Absolutely. So we always look at the interview, and you would have so much experience with this, but we always look at the interview as a way for people to demonstrate their capability to do the job. It's not just to chat, and it's not just to download a whole lot of information that you've already given them in your resume. It's really about demonstrating. So what we're wanting to do is to be able to get to a point where we are calm enough in the interview process and composed enough that we can pick up on those hints and we can really use them to our advantage and showcase how good we are.
Great. So what if I'm a deer in the headlights and I just don't have the answer? What do I do?
That's a horrible feeling, and some of the most incredible people that I've worked with, mind-blowingly intelligent, strong, capable people.
Thank you.
You too, Tad. So a lot of these people are just amazing, and even they have talked to me about situations where that's happened. They're in the interview and they just haven't got the answer. It sends you into a blind panic when that happens, And part of the thing that we can do to prepare for interviews is to get comfortable with that discomfort. So that happens by thinking of the very worst question that someone can ask you in an interview. We all know it. It's hidden down there somewhere and we don't like to think about it. It might be that time I did something I'm not particularly proud of at work, that time I failed particularly spectacularly, and I just really don't want to remember that. Think if someone asked you that question and feel that discomfort. The more that you can get used to that, the better, and the more that you can rehearse how you're going to respond in that situation, the better. So have something ready, have a little safety phrase ready that you can pull out if you find yourself in that really fearful situation, so that you can say, do you know what, I actually can't come up with a good example right now for that. Can we come back to this? Or I don't really have a great example about this, but what I can tell you is something else. Or it might even just be, I'm really uncomfortable answering this question. Whatever it is, whatever that response is going to be, you need to be able to commit to that, and you need to be able to use that as a bit of a trigger to take a deep breath, compose yourself, get yourself back into the right frame of mind so that you can put that message across authentically and confidently, and then continue on with the interview.
Great. Yeah, look, I mean, I have many a time counselled people on the proposition that if you don't have the answer for a question, don't answer the question. So I think in conclusion, rehearse potentially difficult questions, get yourself in a position where you're comfortable with the discomfort, and if you don't know the answer, don't answer the question.
Absolutely.
Great, stay tuned. We've got many more excellent questions that Liz gets asked to share with you.